that engineered it. I mean, that's why they were brought into the EU, so they could do this raping, and next is Portugal, next is Spain, then England, then France, then Germany. Correct, Webster?
Yes, certainly. And the thing, though, is that the forces that resist this need a program. For example, today in Portugal, we have reportedly the biggest labor action, the biggest general strike in 20 years in Portugal against the idea that a Greek or Irish-style austerity plan will come to them. The problem is that the people who lead this are the forces of the Second International, the Socialist International. That means Papandreou in Greece, socialist, Socrates in Portugal, another so-called socialist, and Zapatero in Spain. And the demands that they make are absolutely inadequate. You look at the Irish austerity plan, they want to have the minimum wage reduced for the average person. They want to have the sales tax go from 21 to 23%. Where's the tax on the banks? Where's the Wall Street sales tax? Where's the Tobin tax, the turnover tax? The way to make the banks pay for the crisis that they have themselves created. And where, above all, in the case of Ireland, you've got three zombie banks that are dragging the country down into absolute ruin, destitution, and I would have to say genocide.
Webster, I want to get back into North Korea. I want to get back into TSA. I want to get back into all this, but specifically, where do you see this going? I mean, this is clearly an acceleration of the degeneration towards total global depression as the banks that control the U.S. continue devaluing the currency, then blaming China and Russia for getting concerned. And now China and Russia say when we sell oil or gas to each other, when we sell rare minerals from China that they mine worldwide, Australia and Africa, that they have the biggest 90+% of the production of now, that was a good strategic move, that when they sell finished goods to Russia, it's going to be in their own currencies now, or it's going to be in gold, or it's going to be in SDRs. I mean, is this not a big a signpost we just passed that Putin and the Chinese premier just signed this deal yesterday?
Certainly, the idea that the dollar is indispensable for transfers between China and Russia is it's absurd, right? You'd also wonder if Russia is selling oil to the European Union, why does the dollar get into that one either? This stuff is all obsolete and it's absurd, but where it goes is if you don't stop the depression, there's no civil liberties argument or, how can I say, anti-dictatorship argument that works as long as you have a depression and mass unemployment going on. You need to have programmatic fight against this kind of austerity.
No, I know, Webster. Every time you come on, no matter what issue it is, and we always appreciate it, you go back to solutions. We've covered them. I mean, we know your ideas to fix this. I mean, the thing is, you're saying don't drive the bus off the cliff. The bus has already gone off the cliff. They're not listening to you. In fact, they're accelerating what is going to cause the destruction. Well, so what do we do about that? I mean, we demonize the bankers because they deserve it. And we expose them in the court of public opinion so people know who is the author of our ruin. I think that's the most important thing to do.
Certainly, but you've got to have a program to get out of it, and then people have to become politically aware. So
you like Obama's idea of a national train?
The national train?
Well, no, I mean, he wants this coast-to-coast, speed bullet train.
Hey, listen, this idea was there. The idea has been there long before Obama, and the question is, how do you pay for it? Look, Bernanke says $600 billion of quantitative easing. $600 billion. I say commandeer that money, and that's your down payment on 100,000 miles of fast rail and maglev. And this has got nothing to do with Obama. Obama's a big faker. Obama brings this up when he can't do it anymore, right? If he was going to do it, why didn't he do it in the first couple of weeks? If you started to build 100,000 miles of maglev and fast rail, you'd have an economic recovery, and people would be able to point to that in their communities all over the United States. And, of course, the people doing this would be private sector contractors. It would revive construction, engineering, steel production, rolling stock, a whole series of industries would now be...
No, I know. That's why I raised the point, but they're not doing that from that, classical... infrastructure Americana perspective. Sure. China's doing that. The elites have decided to basically suck this country dry, demonize us for all of their exploits, and leave us holding the bag. So again, how does this North Korea thing tie into it?
All right, now this, I think this is pretty obvious. I mean, this is the kind of circus we've seen again and again and again. The occasion for this is this maneuver, which is held periodically, called Hoguk, H-O-G-U-K.
All right, stay there. Final segment. Come back and get into North Korea, because now they're sending a U.S. carrier. They're saying they're going to do drills basically in the same area, trying to get a provocation from the lunatics in North Korea, proxies for the Chi-Coms. Webster Griffin Tarpley is our guest. It's national, no fly. We're not your slaves. You're not sticking your hand down our pants day. We'll have all the developments at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Give thanks for what's been great about this country and people that have fought and stood up for liberty and freedom and human dignity, so that our national flag not be an image of a sheep or an image of an ostrich with its head in the sand. Phil, one of our graphics people, put together what I guess Homeland Security wants to be our new symbol. In the stars and stripes blue area where the stars would be, we have the ostrich and the sheep as one flag. And then we also have just the sheep alternate with sheep for the stars. But I want to commend everybody standing up to Big Brother sticking their hands down their pants. This has finally broken the trance. And we're going to have victory against this. Webster, briefly, because I want to get back into North Korea, do you agree that this is a bridge too far? The system tried to go too far with this social conditioning for the federal takeover by minimum wage gropers?
I think it's certainly a very important backlash finally against this, and people are saying it's enough already. It's too much.
It's a form of strike. It's Americans finally getting in the streets in a way.
And notice the unfailing totalitarian instincts of Obama, right? Immediately, Obama could have said, well, this is some bureaucrat going out on his own, and they went too far, and we've had enough of this, right? Obama is killing himself politically in order to serve these Wall Street masters, and on this issue, he's doing the same thing. So I hope that this becomes a voting issue. And that people can, if these new Republicans, let's put them to the test. Let them bring in a bill immediately in the first week of January to put a stop to this stuff, and let's vote on it. And let's see if these people are worth anything, right? They claim to be populist. All right, let's find out.
Very well said. We've only got a few minutes left, and again, folks, we'll continue to cover this throughout Thanksgiving and Friday and into Sunday at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Also want to give thanks to the Drudge Report, really pushing this out into the national debate. That's why they want to censor the internet. The White House is announcing that. Finishing up with North Korea, I mean, this is pretty scary, and now we've got more ships going in, more provocations with the lunatic North. Again, where do you see this going?
Well, the problem is you've now got two lunatics, right? You have this Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un, and this is, of course, a communist police state, and it's a horrendous situation. But you've also got this President Lee of South Korea, who is a warmonger and an oppressor in his own right. And remember, the dynamic of this is when the United States wants to increase its control over South Korea and Japan, they gin up a crisis with North Korea. And North Korea is very predictable, very manipulable. In this case, it's the Hoguk maneuver, right, which happens periodically. There have already been shooting incidents as a result of Hoguk in 1999, 2002, and 2009. It's an area of the western side of the peninsula. It's the Yellow Sea. It's a very ragged border. There are lots of islands, peninsulas, promontories, and, of course, the line is where the fighting ended in 1953. So in the morning yesterday, the North Koreans had sent a fax message saying, don't you guys do your live fire artillery exercise. We consider that to be our territory. Don't you fire into our sovereign territory, or we'll shoot back the way we always do. And then the South Koreans went ahead and started shooting, and then the North began replying. And in the middle of it all, the North sent a fax to South Korea saying, is this a war? Are you attacking us? Is this the real thing? So far, it's simply an isolated thing. The thing that makes it more worrisome is you've got the succession crisis of the Kim dynasty, and the young one is this Swiss preppy, and there may well be people in the People's Army of North Korea who say, we don't want any Swiss preppy. He's not tough enough for us, so he's got to show how tough he is. So he's very, very
Also,
in that
I
regard.
see the West trying to stir up the loons because this did drive up the dollar, which is something they want to shore up right now with the Chinese and the Russians deciding to dump it. Webster, have a great Thanksgiving coming up.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, great job. Tarpley.net. Our sites are Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. Bunch of key interviews coming up right now, Infowars.com.
You are listening.
Have a great
to
Thanksgiving, folks. I love you.
Visit GCNlive.com
Great job to the crew.
today.
We're gaining ground for liberty.